Welcome into another edition of the Gator Nation Football Podcast Film Review. I'm your host, James DiVirgilio, and this edition of the film review brings us Florida's offense versus McNeese State's defense. Florida's offense, great statistically on the day, 560 yards of offense, 5 for 6 on third down, 233 passing, 327 rushing, 6.4 yards per rush, and a time of possession of 36 minutes. Florida ran the ball 51 times, and again, passed it 23 times. So quite unbalanced there, but in a lot of ways, this is how Billy Napier wants to win football games. Run first, pass second, control the clock. Of course, he's not always getting to play McNeese State. On this film review, I'll help us answer the questions of whether or not any of this actually translates to the rest of the season, and then, of course, what we can take away from this particular game versus an FCS opponent. As always, if you like this content, sub to this channel. Support our efforts to bring you more of this content by giving us a dono or donation on Patreon. The link is in the description. And check out our podcast each and every Monday, where we bring you in-depth analysis on the Florida Gators. And also support the show by purchasing some merch, which you can sport throughout your week wherever you may live. All right, with all that being said, let's take a look at the second play of the game. Florida got very favorable matchups here versus McNeese. They will not see anybody the rest of the year that is a Division I school play them like McNeese did. And what do I mean by this? If you watched the Utah film review, you saw that Utah was almost never in a look like this. 3 safeties pre-snap here on second down and 9. 5 in the box in the tight formation, T-I-T-E, tight formation, which is certainly fine to use. Florida's not really a spread team, though. You're not going to see as many teams use this formation against us. The reason why McNeese uses it is smaller schools tend to want to run either a 3-3-5 defense or even a 3-2-6 to try to keep things in front of them, and then to use smaller players that are theoretically quicker to come down from safety spots and help fit in the run game. With that being said, though, Florida faced a lot of light boxes with help defenders being corners rather than solid tackling linebackers or even, of course, strong safeties that'll start up in the box. This is a 5-man box. Florida going to spread the field here and get an ideal look for them. Again, help defender coming in here and here on this play, but this is ideal for Florida, and this is why they ran the ball well. I'm not going to mention this too often other than pre-snap. I'll kind of show you how often you see something like this, but this is an excellent pre-snap look for Florida. They had a similar look on first down and only gained 1 yard. They go back to it again. Jet sweep. We're going to fake this here to Trey, and then we're going to come out the backside. So nice blocking here by the O-line. We're going to zone block this to the right, which is going to leave 2 free defenders here. So again, this play is really trying to go through here. That's the ideal goal, but in any zone running scheme, you can take this inside. Of course, you can also cut back, which is what is going to happen here. And now we're going to take on 2 defenders. Again, imagine every time you watch this film that you're playing a quality opponent. No offense to McNeese State. They gave their all, but obviously an opponent that is at least equal to you in skill and or better. And what happens on this play on second and 9 is that you are not going to gain what we gain here. Neither of those defenders touch Montrell. He gets touched there. This winds up going as a big run on the stat sheet versus a better opponent, of course, that goes for maybe a 2-yard gain or even a 1-yard gain, and you're in third down and long. But here in this game, this went for a significant gain, and that's what happened here on film. As it started out with a light box, 2 defenders come in late. Both of them not quite as good as tackling, of course, as other linebackers would be. And Florida has a nice pickup on second down and 9. The very next play, Florida again facing a very light box. There are 4 defenders here, which at the start looks like this could be cover 4. But either way, what it definitely tells you is McNeese is playing safe here. Florida could just keep on running the ball. That's the right thing to do against a quality opponent. But in games like these, you want to really run your plays, obviously, and see what you can come up with. And Florida's going to go for that. We're going to go jet sweep here. By Trey is going to follow that up with a wheel. Clear out route here, just a clear out go route, because if they are in cover 4, this corner here is going to go with this. If they're in cover 2, he'll stay down low, and this safety will then have to account for that, right? And now we're going to watch how this plays out. And I've mentioned before on film reviews, of course, that Billy's play design and passing to me on film leaves something to be desired. And I'm going to show you an example of this here. There's multiple reasons why, of course. Right now, Florida knows. Right now, we know, Graham Mertz knows that they are not in man. There is no chase here, and in fact, no one even comes down to adjust. So again, Florida with the receiver here, defender here, right, safety here. So right now we're 3-on-2, motion man here. Florida is going to elect to play action this, bring our tight end across here, the formation, and then McNeese is going to bring a free blitzer through. Now, there's several things Florida could do to help give this extra time to make this play bigger, and I'll explain those in just a second. First, I'll let the play out. There's your play action fake. Here comes your free, as he's supposed to be, your free blitzer. Mertz now has no time to look at other routes that are occurring. You have Ricky on a drag across, which is going to be gloved up there. And up here, again, you mentioned clear out route, wheel route, right? Those are his options. There's your little drag. So there's your choice. He must take the drag right away because somebody is right in his face. Settles for this to Odom, who is a basically Travis Kelce-like figure for Florida. As often as we feature him and throw him the ball, 1st and 10, you gain 3 or 4 yards here. Now that's fine. They're protecting you on the top, but on TV, you're not going to necessarily notice this. On the all-22, you're going to see that this defender is actually the one here who is covering Trey. We have a linebacker who's way inside the hash covering this wheel route with a corner who ran off in cover 4. All right, so why am I telling you all this? There's other ways this could be designed, especially versus a team who's got so many people here in the back end. When you see that no one is following your player and they're in zone, you know they're most likely either in cover 2 or cover 4 here. They could be in other things post-snap. Let's assume for a second they're in cover 4, which is what you want. You know that corner is going to run off, and then you know this is your matchup right here. Now, what that means is you need to make sure you have time to hit this matchup because this is going to be a win. Several things you could do. One, we could just scratch this route for a second and have him chip, right? We just chip for a second and release him late. Slow release into the flat. Let's try to hit this one first, right? That's one. Or off the play fake, your running back settles in here and gives a chip block, and you run this from in the pocket rather than rolling out. We talked about this with AR as well last year. If we imagine doing this, here comes your chip. Imagine the chip. If this is a chip, or if our running back executes the fake and goes here, this linebacker is still looking in the backfield. And although you can't see this, the cover 4 corners ran off, and Trey right now is by himself outside the hash on the sideline with 15 yards of space in either direction. This becomes potentially a touchdown or at least an explosive play. And instead, Florida settles again for an underneath play. There's Trey. He's wide open. No one is here again. This is the man accounting for him. He's going to rally down and make this tackle. Florida settles for this stuff way too often, in my opinion, in the passing game. Now, I'm not going to spend this whole film review critiquing every pass Florida did against McNeese, but because this stuff comes up, it's a nice example of what I think could have been done and designed to be better. Oftentimes, Florida just sort of settles for whatever's there, but this is not effective or efficient passing, even given this pre-snap look here. Again, this play, to me, leaves a lot to be desired with the design, and that winds up just being a short gain. Could have been way, way more. You much rather have the ball in his hands than his hands. No offense to Odom. Every single day of the week, right? And so you want to draw a scheme up that allows your playmakers to get the ball. Now, Florida did that in this game, as we're going to see. But again, I won't spend as much time on any other plays on offense as I did with this one. I wanted to kind of diagram an example of what it may look like to take a concept and build it out a little further to give yourself a chance to hit with more success a vertical route. Second and short now, several plays later for Florida on the same drive. Here we're going to get a concept Florida likes to run a lot. 2 receivers initially out, so we're going to high-low this, but teams have been very effective at covering this. Douglas was doubled almost all game compared to Ricky, who was often singled. So that shows you how teams, we saw this last year too, how teams prefer to guard Florida. Although Ricky wears number 1 and is often the feature guy of Florida, most opposing defenses would much rather bracket someone else. So that's something to keep in mind in the future for. At any rate, here they're both going to be bracketed, which is a common complaint I have with Florida's offense. Is if you're going to run just 2 guys out, 2-on-4 is not a great idea, especially when Florida's generally running single move routes. Also not ideal, not helping each other. So this is going to get walled off here. That's going to be gone. That's going to be gone. And then Florida's going to try to bring here. Trey's just going to not even run a route. He's running the jet sweep, not running a route. Last time we saw him run a wheel, he's matched up directly. If I just told you they're doubling here, he's matched up directly with a linebacker. We opt not to run him on anything. And instead, we're going to try to hit a wheel here, right, up on the nickel. Now, again, as much as I like, right, as much as I like Etienne and I love him, football is about your better matchup. Nickel versus Etienne is not nearly as good as this linebacker versus your quickest and most elusive receiver. But Florida, again, elects not to do that. They're actually trying to hit a shot up top. And again, this is a good look because look how many guys are in the box. 7 guys in the box here. They're expecting run. Great time for play action, but Florida often does not hit enough on play action given what they're doing. Now imagine here we just run a curl instead on this route, right, or an option route. And a lot of times I don't think Florida's playbook allows for option routes because if they're there, I don't see them. If we give this receiver an option here to either run a corner or a sit route, for example, he would elect to sit here for sure. He'd draw these defenders up and he'd come back to the ball and we would complete this. Instead, Graham knows right away, I don't have this, I'm doubled, and on this I'm doubled. I have to then come back to my only other route because this is not really a route, right? This is my route. So he looks here, that's not there. Now I've got to take my check down, which of course is Travis Kelce, and we're going to settle on 2nd and 2, although we're going for a touchdown for this play here. So not a lot results out of that. We do get a first down again, but you like to see Florida in a favorable look like that on 2nd and 2 with 7 men in the box with a chance to have an easy or wide open receiver to throw to. There is not one. Graham Mertz makes the right decision here, and Florida converts. After getting stopped on 1st and goal here, Florida in 2nd and goal again, coming in with the heavy goal line package. Going to run a power to the right side right here. One more time, sorry. Here comes your power. We're going to take the guard. We're going to pull him across the formation here. We're going to pull right through here and clear out with Zanders. Fun little note here is Zanders going to give a little boost here, a little zip boost right there to Leonard. Go ahead and get in there. Get in there. Look at this. Whoop, pull shot. Success, right? Pull shots him into the end zone. And in goes Montrell. So Zanders with, again, key to this play here. Didn't work super cleanly, but Zanders says, no worries. I'll pull shot you into the defender that could stop this play. And we're walking in. Florida's on the board, 6-0 early on the first drive. After an excellent punt by McNeese and a stop by Florida's defense, 1st down and 10. Now against Utah, you would not have seen this look. Once again, despite Florida being on the 1-yard line, McNeese electing to have 4 defenders back and a light box. Again, 4 defenders back, looking like they're going to play cover 4. Of course, they can bring someone up. They can do a lot of different things. But at least pre-snap, not what we were seeing versus Utah, not what Florida's going to see in the rest of the year. But this is an ideal look for Florida. Look, when you're playing Billy Napier's team, this is not how you want to play defense, especially, obviously, if you want to win. Now for McNeese, they just want to keep everything in front of them. They're there to collect their paycheck. Just make it kind of long for Florida when it comes to scoring. And right here, immediately, right, dream scenario. Let's go ahead and zone this out up here. Let's wall all this off. Lead blocker through here, wall that off there, and we're through. Optimal start, everything you want. Dreaming of this moment. As we talked about, here's your flex defender coming in the box. Here's your other flex defender coming in the box. We're going to take out one and then leave, right, our running back with a chance to make a move there in ETN. All you really want there is to get out of your goal line, and instead, Florida's going to pick up a smooth 6 or 7 yards on that play. So ideal look. Florida takes advantage right there with the run, and you do want to run against that front. Look, if Florida's playing Alabama or Georgia or anyone, Florida State down the road, and they get those looks, Florida should run the football, right? Football's a numbers game. Take the numbers and do what the defense allows you to do. That's good football. Mertz was 14 of 17 in this game. He played very well. Again, I think on the Mertz film review before the season, we described him as a capable pilot. And he is certainly that. He made almost all the right decisions on every throw in this game, had a ridiculous completion percentage, and a lot of it was because Florida had a lot of easy throws to make, but he also did the right thing on most of the plays. Florida attempted to throw deep. That wasn't there. He'd take the check down. Example here of a nice, easy screen. Again, easy money here for Florida. We're going to bring across our jet sweep player. Nobody motions with them. Florida knows that we're in zone. They also know that McNeese is content to play 4 high on most of these snaps, which means we're really only going to have to block 1 here. There goes Douglas. Then Ricky becomes a lead blocker here on this play to our most explosive playmaker, Trey. And that's easy, right? That is super easy. Take that all day, every day. He's still running at the 10-yard mark. Right there, he gets touched. And there is your other, of course, high safety. He comes in, touches him. Gain of 12. Really easy, really simple stuff for Florida. Either way, good execution. This would be a version of quick game, as we've talked about so often before. It's a 0-drop play. I would prefer to see Florida add some quick game against real opponents, of course, that don't always go east-west. You'd like to see this quick game be able to also come into these areas and here. But again, right here, this is good. This is a good play call with the numbers. Good idea. They're sloughing off like this. Easy money. You could take that all day long as you kept getting that look. All right, first down a little later in the drive. McNeese again. Going to show 3 high right off the start here. 3 high right off the start. Florida's going to take a shot here. Light box. Ideally, Florida would just keep running the football. But like we talked about, these games are to test yourself, of course, more than just running. And Florida did a lot of running. On this play, Florida's going to go for a play action shot. Route here, this is going to be your clear out right over the top. It's going to be a go route. Ricky's going to run a hitch here past the Gator logo. Then you've got a drag here coming from Douglas, which is going to run right into this defender. So McNeese is going to sag back here, pass this off to the safety. That's done. It's a clear off route. He should be getting passed off. Ricky's going to run a hitch. These linebackers are going to fold back and squeeze that out. And then this across route again gets picked up here. All three guys are picked up. Nobody is open. And then we're going to put Trevor Etienne on this. So there's nowhere to go here. Despite having clean pocket and tons of time, as we often see, Florida's concepts, again, don't allow receivers to be wide open. There are certainly ways to get them open. This combo does not lead to anything. There's nowhere to go despite tons and tons of time. You'd love to have an easy ball here. There isn't one. So on 1st and 10, Mertz does what he should do, which is take nothing and make it something. Takes a late hit there. You hate to see that in an FCS game, but either way, that is the right decision by the quarterback. All right, same drive a little later, 2nd and 5. Take a look at this box. If you're Billy Napier, you got a 4-man box here, right? Again, that's a safety over here. Pay attention to him. He's up there. 3-way high, 4-man box. Here's a conflict defender, so let's call it 5, but he's not even in the box yet, right? So look what you have here, right? You got 6 coming. We're going to run a little power run here, which is nice. Here comes some power right here on the counter. Take the guard and the tackle. Let's pull them across the formation. And this is really great news when you have your guard and your tackle coming and there's no one to block. He's like, wow, this is amazing. But there's no one even here on this counter play. And pre-snap, this is pretty easy. There goes ETN. And again, free money, easy yards. If they give it to you, just take it, right? Not realistic for the future, but it's there. Florida took it. Good conversion. 1st and 10. McNeese again expecting a run here on this one. Loading up the box with 7, playing a little bit more aggressive. And I say loading the box, they're still, kind of still leaving an umbrella of 4 here. But for them, that's as much as you're going to get. Florida's going to counter with a little trickeration. We're going to bring Mertz here on this fake handoff, a little reverse action. There's the fake with Trey. And because of that, we do hold all of these defenders, which is what we want. We hold them all in here, allowing now this play to play out. Block here, free defender here. There you go. We're off to the races. Bingo, bango. That's 15, 16, 19, 20 yards before being touched. We get touched right here, and if we just don't clip, if we just don't clip right there, right, Aiden Mazelle's leg, then we're in. Or sorry, Andy Jean's leg. My apologies. My apologies there, Andy Jean. Andy Jean's leg, then we're in. We clip his leg, we're down the 1-yard line. Either way, though. He's so close. Either way, nice play, good design. And again, if you get a heavy box, you got to find a way to get around it. A good solution for a team who stays so far off, like McNeese right there. 1st and goal. I show you every score on these film reviews. Do I need to? I don't know. Write me. Let me know if I don't need to. I'll stop doing it. Nothing really to see here. Quarterback sneak. In fact, the TV camera doesn't even care because we catch it late enough that the play's not even happening. But it is a quarterback sneak, and there's Graham Mertz in the end zone. So Florida goes up by 2 scores. Of course, you missed the extra point with a snap over the head. But either way, we're up 2 scores. Touchdown, Florida. Driving the ball at will with the run game against favorable looks. All right, here's a little trickeration versus cover 2. You don't actually need trickeration here at all, and you'll see why. But you're running a go route here. Ricky's going to run right behind him in the wake. I actually like this design a lot. In fact, I've talked about this multiple times on the channel throughout the years of just this being one of the easiest high-low combinations there is in football. It's a reason why a bunch set here is solid. It's also the reason why Tennessee's offense is solid. They just push these numbers further out and run a lot of the same stuff. But if you know a team is in cover 2 and you run a clear out here, he's got to run with that. This defender is in conflict, and so is this defender, right? But this defender is getting high load. We're going to send Ricky over his head. We're going to leave Trey down here. He cannot be right. He must make a decision. He will be correctly taught to play in between both of them. So he should sink back here and sit like right here, but then Ricky will be open. This is also open. Conflict defender. This linebacker is not going to come over here and play sideline to sideline. He's going to stay inside. So by basically running Ricky into his wake here, it's a good concept, good route concept, especially versus an a defense like this. You could essentially run this all day versus McNeese, because if they run a cover 4, they drop. That leaves your linebacker essentially one-on-one here with Trey. And there's a million concepts you could run there. So let's play this concept out. Here we go. Snap comes. And again, Florida's going to add some trickeration here. You don't need this, but this is just to help pull the conflict defender down. In reality, the conflict defender is going to go right here and stop anyway and leave Ricky open. But regardless, we are going to pump this. They get the timing more or less right. This is good. We saw last week against Utah, the timing was wrong. Look, watch, pump fake. He jumps to get the ball, pump fake jump. Brings the cover 2 corner down. This linebacker sits on the inside. Here's your clear out route. Now you're wide open. Ricky is here. This ball thrown on time. Only problem, he's going to get stuck for this, right? He's going to pay. So why do I say they don't need the pump fake? In an ideal world, you take this snap, you don't need to pump fake this, and you just read your conflict defender, right? So your eyes open up here. If the conflict defender trails back, it's 1st and 10. You trail back this as long as you want him to trail. Let him trail, stick this route, playmaker underneath with space. If he stops at any point in time flat-footed, you zip this ball in right away. Ideally here, let's take a look here. Let's assume he came down to this point anyway. This ball can now be thrown to Ricky, which allows him to catch this ball right about here. Instead of where he does catch it, here's where he would have caught it. Here's where he does catch it, where a safety is waiting for him. Either way, good concept. You could run this all day. You could high load this literally all day versus this kind of defense. You could run the same route concept until they came out of what they were doing. That's why it's a good concept. But Florida converts here on 1st and 10. 3rd and 5. A lot of concepts Florida could run here from an empty set. This is not one I love on film. You'll see why. You got 3 high again. You got 5 wide here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This guy's also off. These guys are not playing football. It's 3rd and 5. They cannot come down on most of your routes. You can also run a lot of combinations against them. But regardless, there's a ton of real estate here, especially right here, right? Where you can do a lot of stuff. Instead, Florida's going to like to run a play that I think is the least ideal in this regard, which is going to be this screen. Why is this the least ideal? Because it's going to allow something we've seen happen before last year with Florida screens. These 2 defenders, if they are in fact not rushing, which they're not, look, a lot of teams here running simulated pressures, right? Those 4 are still going, so they're not actually bringing pressure. These 2 come back. Now, they don't know where they're going back to yet, but this winds up being perfect for them because they are getting to come from here. And Florida is counting on this play being able to go here with these defenders staying inside the box. But they don't. And this is why simulated pressures are really nice, right? Pre-snap, if Florida thinks, hey, these guys are coming, right? They're all coming. Look at this. Let's say they all go over there. This is perfect. It's a home run. Look what we have here. It's a touchdown play. And of course, pre-snap, you can think that, right? But you don't know that. So this play doesn't give you versatility. That's kind of the point here. If you get the call right pre-snap, it's big. If you don't, you do not convert on 3rd down. That's a problem without a secondary option. So Florida here to Webb, Florida's freshman. All right, 3rd and 5. We're dead. Right? We're dead. We got to get to here. We are not getting there. Here's 1, and here's 2 defenders. Here's a 3rd defender. There's 1 whiff. Thank you, Webb. Nice move. We're going to convert that there, make him miss. And then we're going to hopefully, there you go. We're going to make him miss. Whoop. Nope. Kind of tags him. Probably doesn't pull his flag, if that's flag football. Still going. And now we get a nice block here, right? Nice block from 8. Big time block from 8. Seal this outside here. Seal this outside here. This guy needs to be coming downhill faster. He's not. He's lost in the wake. And now that becomes a nice conversion. Is that realistic? No. Was that a good play call versus the defense? No. Could it have been? Yes. And that's one thing that's important to say on these film reviews. I have the benefit of looking at this play after it happened. Of course, I always try to show you pre-snap what could happen and how good offenses have multiple solutions in one play to what could happen. If your offense has a single play, if you're going to run this play, of course, then it becomes more difficult if that play is countered by a defensive good play call and you don't have another read. Now, all that being said, we are playing McNeese State. We're obviously not going to show best concepts and whatnot, but there's 14 games of data to show that this stuff happens anyway. And I'm not trying to be overly harsh here on Billy's passing offense in general. I'm trying to educate with scenarios that occur when you're calling a play and then what could or couldn't happen. And that's an example here where this play is dead in the water, but Webb makes him miss. Good blocks from the receiver. We're off to the races. Nice work by Webb. Way to earn that one there and taking Florida out of a bad situation and putting them into a conversion. 1st and goal on the 2, a classic timeless goal line concept. Let's take our tight end and let's sneak him out here. We're a running team, probably running the football in. Play action. This guy doesn't even care. Take a look at this. Ricky's going to just go ahead and run a hitch here to occupy the corner. And then we're going to have the linebacker who gives no credence to Xanders. I mean, he doesn't care at all. He's like, I'm coming from Mertz. You can do whatever you want. Mertz with tons of time. Unfortunately, it just makes this throw a little bit more difficult than it has to be. This should still be caught. Don't get me wrong. This has to be caught. However, with this much real estate, I'm sure Mertz, if he were on this channel right now, would say, yeah, he should have caught it. And Xanders would say, yeah, I should have caught it. But Mertz, being the wise and veteran quarterback that he is, says, I'd like to give him this ball without him jumping here. I have tons of space. I have a huge window. I could float it over here. He shouldn't have to be jumping on this. That's got to be on me. And again, Xanders feels bad for himself. He's frustrated and grabbed that ball. But ideally, better throw. Either way, good concept. Just poor execution there. Unlucky. But a nice concept on 1st and goal for Florida. They don't convert. Not to fear, though. We can take second down and run a little inside zone here to Webb. And, go ahead and clear everyone out here. Let's go ahead and have this defender just get knocked down straight to the ground right here. Look at this. Boom. He just actually knocks himself down. And right there. Follow in. Ba-boom. Easy. Follow 5-4 right into the end zone. Touchdown Webb. We're on the board again. Florida rolling up against McNeese. Florida's going to go for 2 here. Let's look at the concept that Florida does run. Their best option is going to be a little hitch route here in between the linebackers. This is where the ball should have gone. Instead, we're going to run this outside concept, which is ideally what you want to do. Look, ideally, you do want to run this concept. You're 2-on-2 in the entire wide side of the field. I don't love this concept. I think a lot of you didn't love this concept either, and here's why. We're going to bring Trey in here to bring his corner here. Now, they could switch this, or they could straight man this. Those are their 2 choices. If they straight man this, then we're going to get a little rub here and let Ricky race this with an over-the-top defender. If they switch this corner is going to see him release to the inside. He's going to stay to the outside. Get picked up here, right? So they're going to stay. They're going to play man. The reason why I don't like this combo is we are on the far hash, and now we're going to run Ricky underneath this pick, which is not going to pick an over-the-top guy running in man. Every defender in this situation is going to run over the top of this part of the field here, as they should. He does the right thing. He's running over top. And now, where do you throw this ball if you're Mertz, right? I mean, where's this ball going? Far hash. He's got to put like this kind of ball on him up top here where the defenders clamp down on him. You know, that's just low percentage for a 2-point conversion. And again, I like working the empty right side of the field here. But there's a lot of different things you could have done. Like, for example, you could in fact just try to basically run this slant route, right? Instead, have this be a deep hook where he gets in the way. He runs this slow, pushes this defender out, and then he can run this kind of route, right? Coming underneath that Wakefield, let him run one-on-one. Then you can also have him after this hook release here. So basically, concept is let's hit the slant route. Let's clear this out here if they're in man. And if this slant is not here, then you are taking off here. This ball then Mertz sets right here. Can put either way. Okay, there's a lot of stuff that you can do. But throwing the ball all the way over here where you're picking and going under, if they switch again, it's not ideal. There's not a lot of ways that works. So didn't love that. That winds up going for an incompletion. 1st and 10 here again. Light box from McNeese. Lots of guys, right, in the backfield here off the ball. Florida's going to try to take a shot here. The route combo. Douglas here. They're going to try to get a very slow, basically like an out, essentially an out and then go. Like an out and up, but it's so late. You know, it's not really an out and up. It's really just like an out and then basically to the hash, to the seam. So we'll call it an out and up, but regardless, it's very slow developing. The problem is, again, count the defenders here. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Let's see what happens post-snap. There's the roll. 5 now involved in the play. And we box ourselves in, as Florida does a lot on film. He's going to just run himself into the middle of basically 5 guys, right? He's dropping. Look, he's sinking. Off the screen, he's sinking. He now identifies, right? This is the number 1 receiver for him. It's number 2 coming across formation. Open up. I read down here. I read what comes across. Okay, I see that. I sink. He's over here. This is all accounted for. There's nothing here. Everything's accounted for. There's nowhere to go. There are 2 safeties on top of Ricky as he makes this out and up move. They stay higher than he does. And then Douglas just runs himself off. There's no option route. There's no choice there. There's nowhere to go. We have good blocking. We have great protection. This should be a big play. This needs to be a big play. This offense has got to be able to punish teams when they have this much time. Once again, we don't. Here's your check down here. Of course, Mertz can just hit this check down, let him go one-on-one. Instead, he elects to run through a big hole on his own. Right? Slides a little early there, but it's McNeese, don't get hit. Either way, right decision by Mertz there. There's nothing there. And again, I wish I could show you what that looks like from the All-22. I cannot, but you can trust me that that's the way that it is. So no one is there, so Mertz again makes the right decision here on 1st and 10. This is definitely a play that Mertz will want back. We're going to get Douglas running a post here with the entire field basically open to him because both of these guys on 1st and 10 are going to come down here and play the sticks. So you're going to get a defender dropping off here, a defender dropping way off here, allowing these routes to go to the middle. The only deep route is going to be Douglas. Mertz is going to open up, look at it, see, he's IDing correctly. These safeties coming down here on Ricky. Correct ID. He now can go for the home run ball. There he goes. Eyes shift to the home run ball. Only problem is I don't think he took time to recognize that the home run ball in this case, here's how this was. Here's Florida. and here's McNeese. So the McNeese guy is on top of the route this way, right? This ball just needs to be thrown in this area here. Anywhere down in here, where now you have Douglas able to basically shield this, right? Shield this, and then obviously you can't throw it over to this side. He'll get there. But this ball is thrown on a rope to the inside where Douglas basically shields this defender off of his backside. That can be a completion. Mertz elects to throw this as though he's the receiver, which is how you'd want to throw this ball here, high and over the top of an underneath DB. Not the right ball choice for this one. That could have been a completion. Again, right here, I'm going to stop this film right here, right? He has great coverage on top. This is excellent coverage. But there's so much space here. If you want to make this throw, you use the leverage that your receiver has by putting this ball on a rope, again, into this window where he shields off this defender from behind him. Not an open guy. Once again, a play-action play. Nobody is actually open. This is a nice concept. This is solid. We'll take this, right? This is ideal. Versus a good team, you'll definitely take this chance here. Put the ball in the right spot. You got to play. But no one's open despite Florida's running game, and this just goes for nothing. A ball, again, Mertz will want to have back there. On film, we'll see that and think, I should have waited one more second, made sure I saw where the McNeese defender was, saw where 2 was, and put that ball where we talked about. Either way, incompletion, so no harm, no foul. We go to second down. All right, 3rd and 10, 19-0. Second quarter here. This is the first real challenge for Florida's offense, a 3rd and 10. And McNeese, as you're going to see here, again, already starting off in what looks to be a pre-snap bailout cover 4. You'd think they're going to hard guard the sticks here, but they are not. These 2 safeties are going to clear well beyond the sticks. And again, at times it was almost like McNeese was just content to let Florida have a get-right game. There it is. And that's get right, right? Again, what are we doing? McNeese, what are we doing here? It's 3rd and 10. This is your chance to get someone off the field. Let's at least attempt to get them off the field. I just showed you doing that on 1st down a few plays ago, and now you're not doing it. And the 1st down line is right here. Either way, good ID by Mertz, right? That's what you want. You want to get to the sticks, open up, ID it, stick it right there to Ricky. That's a good conversion. So Mertz, really good job there. Really nice work. Florida converts to 3rd and 10. 2nd and 5 now in the red zone. 37 seconds left. We're going to bring across Trey. Nobody follows. We got zone, but we're not going to pass the ball. We're going to run the ball here. It's a little split zone this way. We're going to run outside zone here to the left, and this is going to be glorious right here. Big 7-6 comes around the corner, and we're going to seal that up. 2 guys for 1 right here. 2 guys for the price of 1. We're going to clear this out here with Leonard. Let's get all these guys to the sideline, which is what we'd like to do. Again, you have a choice either way as these linemen. We're trying to push everyone out here. Of course, if they dive inside here, you can seal them, right? Get a 2-way go. That's what we're looking for. 2-way go here. ETN opens up saying, I can take the corner, or I can take any one of these cutback lanes. And then there it is right here. Straight through to pay dirt. Nice work here. Nice work here. Kick them out. Kick them out. Keep them in. Boom. Walk-in touchdown. Great execution. As we've seen time and time again from Billy, the run design is excellent, often elaborate, confusing, tricky, well-orchestrated. When he has a good offensive line, it's downright deadly. Although Florida's offensive line here is not the same unit that last year's was, especially at its peak. In this particular game, of course, they were successful. 1st and 10 now, second half. Florida going to take another shot here. Little stutter go from Ricky. It's going to get bottled up. And then the ever-popular kind of deep cross across the field is also going to get bottled up because, of course, McNeese has a bunch of guys back here, which will lead Florida to take the check down. There's your play action. There goes Douglas. There goes Ricky. You can't see the safeties because they're on top of that. That's bottled up. Again, here he is, IDing. Reading this way, Florida has not really hit this route too often. Also, this route's still way in the backfield, so he's going to slink back here, make sure there's nothing to do here. Now, this linebacker is going to play this relatively incorrectly at this point in time. Ideally, he's going to kind of shade over a little more, but Mertz opens up. He's still high and inside, and that's just what you want. This is a good ball by Mertz. Look, if you're going to throw this check down here, this has got to be forward. If you throw him laterally, you're killing this play. Get his legs moving towards the end zone here, which he does, gets to catch this ball, immediately gets to have eyes up, and now, perfect scenario, right? 1st and 10, that's how you throw that particular check down on a high-low. That's how you maximize it. You give him a chance to do exactly what he does right here. Whoop, puts a foot in the ground, leaves this guy absolutely, I mean, he's just a spectator, right? He's like you and I right now watching this film review. He's on the field, but he's not really on the field. He's right here with these guys. They're not going to say anything. They're like, dang, bro, that boy Trey is cold. I don't mess with that guy. And then another move right here, and he's like, all right, there's like literally the whole team on me. I'll just go down right here for almost a first down. So check down, nothing over the top. Nice play there, but again, it's concerning to me on these film reviews that we just do not complete almost any of these play action plays we attempt to take. That's not a great rate. And the defense, yes, is sitting back. That's obvious. However, there are ways, of course, you could still have open receivers in these things, but you send just 2 guys out, and the routes are often the same, as we've seen on film many, many times. Teams know this, and they're sitting on them, and they're not hitting almost at all. And I think that will affect Florida versus better opponents. You have to start hitting some of these shots if we want to be more successful this season. One of the best times to run a play-action pass is when you see a team loading up their numbers. Ideal. Now, we've talked about this before in film reviews here in the GNFP. 2nd and 1 is a down and distance you dream of as a play caller and play designer because the defense is in a tight spot. Do they elect just to give you the first down with a run nice and easy? Do they play safe? In this case, it's one of the few times McNeese is showing you exactly what they're in, pre-snap cover 3. You know what they're running. And this is where you could, if you want to play air raid and be simple, you can just run 4 verts, right? Put the person on for 4 verts. But instead, Florida here, world their oyster. They're going to run what they like to run, which is going to be a clear out and then a crosser. Except this time it's going to work. Why is this going to work? This cover 3 corner is not responsible for crossing the field. There is no defender here who's going to go with him, which means this cover 3 corner has got to run with this go route, and this safety's got to stay as deep as the deepest man. So this play is going to work because these 2 defenders are going to get cleared out, going to leave Ricky unguarded with a sinking linebacker after the play action being the only line of defense. Let's watch it play out. There's your play action. Now we're in motion. Linebackers have to get back. They know now they're in trouble. There's your clear out route. And none of these guys are getting back to where Ricky is. You can see Ricky's already off your screen. Graham IDs it, back foot in the ground, as we've seen on the Trask videos back in the day, the glory days of Florida slinging the rock. Climb, deliver a good ball right on the face mask, let him turn the corner, and gain extra yards. Perfectly executed by Mertz. Nice to see a receiver wide open. It is the same familiar play concept we've seen. Of course, this time, it's versus cover 3. Ideal when you got all these guys in the box. Now, again, the same concept versus cover 3 where they are not sitting on run and they simply sink back, right? It's going to happen here. They simply sink back. This concept is also not there yet again. And there's other ways, of course, again, I think you can make it there, especially by trying to 2-on-1 safeties and dropping defenders rather than what Florida often does, which is send one guy at the deep men and leave everything else underneath. Either way, nice concept here leads to a big chunk yard play for Florida. 1st and goal here. Nice blocking on the zone run. Ricky comes across. We're going to fake the jet sweep just to hold the edge here. We know we want to come in here. Let's watch the O-line go to work. Push out, push out, push out, push out, hold in. This is the tunnel we want to run through. And look at that right there. You can see it. Stop right here. We want to be able to see the back of their jersey. We can. We want to see this guy caught up in here. Great block here. Good block here. Sealed out here. There goes Montrell, right through, not contacted until the 2-yard line. Now the running back, good drive, get off of me, you're not going to stop me. Ball out, look at this. Whoop, ball out. Whoop, you can see it right here. Crafty Montrell. Oops, sorry, I lost that feed there. Let's go back. And whoop. Crafty. Veteran running back right there. Safe, don't leave it extended for too long. Make sure it's safe, but reach, get the touchdown. Get in the end zone. Nice work. All right, here it is, the moment of truth. Mertz, 13 of 16 for 141. He's still in the game late in the 3rd quarter, despite this game being out of hand at 33-0. Play action. Florida catches McNeese in a good look here. We're climbing up. McNeese with just 3 in the back end. And we're going to run similar routes. We've seen these routes before, except this one's going to be good by Ricky. But what makes this play is Andy Jean is just going to run, again, the deep over, except this middle safety, which is right here, is going to bracket and run with Andy Jean. He's not even going to look at what's happening over. He doesn't care about what's happening with Ricky. And Ricky is going to basically push. Again, this is nice. If you're in cover 3, which they actually don't wind up being cover 3, they wind up being basically cover 6, where they're going to wind up shepherding him over here. So they're giving attention to this part of the field, not this part of the field. This is a problem because he basically plays this as cover 3 technique over here where he just stays high and outside, giving up the entire middle. Ricky runs this route, pushing him further to the outside to gain leverage, and then snaps this to the post, which is perfect because this middle safety runs off. That's the anatomy of what a good deep play looks like on play action. Good protection up front. Back foot hits right here. ID, safety moves over, you know it. Get a good ball off. Easy money touchdown, and here you go. Just like I talked about, this safety was here. He went down here rather than backpedaling and staying with the deepest, which would have put him here. Had he done that, which is what pre-snap looked like, by the way, then he's going to sit on top of this route, and this route over here is going to be picked up naturally by the cover 3 dropper there. So this winds up being perfect, not because of what the pre-snap look looks like. Pre-snap look, this is not going to be a great route combination, but post-snap, it is a perfect route combination. And then there you go. All we need is a good ball. Walk into the end zone. Again, ideally, if you're Mertz, you probably want this ball more over here. It's a little bit too close to here. A better DB might be able to catch back up, throw him into the spot where he's still trailing maximally. But either way, good enough ball for sure. And then Mertz is going to be super hyped if you notice this. I mean, he was fired up after this. It's a good ball. It's a good time. I think Florida, in large part, have been trying to hit big plays all day and have been unable to do so. So they pretty much end their day hitting a big play right here, at least mentally, psychologically. They're feeling good. The crowd's feeling good. This is Florida football. We want to see bombs. Florida definitely tried. As you've seen on multiple occasions, they attempted to go over the top, couldn't do it. They get one here late in the third and push the score to 40-0. 2nd and 7, quarterback Max Brown in the game, a redshirt freshman out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. And he is going to run an old familiar standby. We saw AR run this play a ton last season. Play action, roll out to the right? Love this play. It's one of Napier's favorite concepts. What you're going to get here is a clear out. You're going to get an out route. You get a trail route right here. So you get basically 3 levels. You get deep, middle high, middle, and then low. Those are your route combinations as a quarterback. Lots of choices. There's your levels right here. You open up level, level, level. Now, in the past, we've seen that all of these routes have been covered naturally with how teams play this. Not the case here. In fact, everyone is open here. He soaks up here. You can see they got all kinds of issues. Everyone's open. They know it. 10 definitely knows. He's like, oh, man, this is not good. I got both of these guys open. And Max does the right thing here and selects the best throw, which is this one. Easy enough. Take that money right there. Bada boom. And thank you, number 11, Aiden Mazzell, getting some love right there. On 2nd and 7, moving the sticks. Florida, of course, featured a ton of players in this game. Good for Billy and getting a lot of people in there. And the highly touted freshman, Aiden Mazzell, makes a catch right there, moves the sticks. 1st and goal, Tran Webb right here. Florida's freshman had himself a day. They heavily featured him in this game, giving him lots of work, which was great to see. There goes number 11, the aforementioned Aiden Mazzell. We're going to fake the jet sweep, and we're going to go straight here. This play, again, better athlete. No offense to McNeese. They're giving their all. These guys are still good athletes, obviously. But SEC-level athlete, this play is probably already over. Not probably, I mean definitely already over. Right, he comes right through. We just whiff this. This is not, by the way, what you're looking to do. You want to get some hands on him and redirect him outside, at least a little bit. You got to get him off this path. Instead, he whiffs totally. He wants to get to the 2nd level here because we want to run this ball right through here. Take a look at the wake we're creating, right? Outside, lock up here. Now you want a 2-way go, ideally. But again, you need this guy to get rerouted some because the better guy is going to put him down right here, but he doesn't. And now we've got what we need. Walled all this off. Now, again, if you're a running back, you got to beat one guy. That's always the way it's going to be. You got to beat the unblocked man. And Webb gets the inside scoop on him, drives low, finishes that nicely without getting tackled. So Webb into the end zone for the 2nd time. Touchdown, Florida. Micah Leon, the graduate transfer who played at UConn and was also at NC State. Into the program here and into the game. Hard work paying off. Good for him. He's going to get a concept here. Again, Florida's run many times before in some way, shape, or form. Going to get a deep, kind of really a corner route, but way deep. Basically a clear out route, and this is the target right here on an out route. Deeper than what you see here. Aiden Mazzell. He is going to be wide open. There's your play fake. Here comes, again, the same play we saw before, right? Chip this here for a second. Give him more time. That's just me. Whatever. Here we go. We're not going to chip him. Now he's being chased. And I think because of this, right, this throw is going to be off. Take a look. If we chip him a little bit, I think he makes this throw. He's going to yoink this throw a little bit. He's got a lot of space here. What you can't see is that this ball needs to go up the field where there's tons of space. Put some touch on this ball. Let him run into all of this luscious space. There's 15 yards of space here. between him and the safety who's running with Florida's clear-out receiver. Instead, this ball is behind him, not well thrown, and then Mizell tries to make this grab, does not get it, but, it happens, no worries. Florida sets up third down instead. 1st and 15 here. Florida way down at the end of the game, 49-0. A lot of Florida fans wanted us to get over 50, rightfully so. We missed an extra point. The spread was, 46.5. Put this in the bad beat category. Also unfortunate given how well the defense played. But Eddie Battle in the game here, a redshirt senior, good program guy. Was at Missouri State before, is in. And this is really unfortunate. Florida's going to run guard tackle counter, GT counter. Again, a big feature of Lincoln Riley's playbook. Lots of other coaches too, but Lincoln Riley really brought this back into vogue in college football. We covered this in depth several years ago in the film review. But either way, here it comes around the corner. We're going for a home run here. And in fact, this play is going to be really nice if this defender does not do an excellent job. He's the unblocked man on the backside. He sniffs this out. Really great play by him here. I mean, this should be noted. This is unfortunate for Battle. Gets the ball at the mesh point and then just gets stripped right here. Tries to lay on it and keep it underneath him. Tries to lay on it right there. Is holding it, but unfortunately gets wrestled away from him. And there you go. McNeese with the ball. This would lead to the only points Florida would give up. Really unfortunate here, especially because, again, at this point in the game, you're hoping these guys all just get to have some nice plays, some good memories in the swamp. And they were setting him up for one here. They were trying to give him a home run crack or at least a big gain. I like this call by Billy. Let's go with something good here. Let him earn a good memory on the field. It turns a little sour. Again, just unfortunate. It's going to happen sometimes. Unfortunate there for Battle in Florida. But either way, the offense, again, hyper productive, really good job, lots of effective running. How do I categorize this football game? Much like anyone else should versus an FCF opponent. It's basically a cash buyout game. It's not realistic to the rest of the season. It's a get-right game. It's a chance for your players to feel good and gain some confidence heading into a real game versus Tennessee. But basically nothing that we saw in this game is going to successfully translate into a game versus an SEC opponent. There are, however, still concerns, of course, that Florida's passing game and passing routes leave a lot to be desired, even against an overmatched opponent. Florida just doesn't have a lot of open receivers on film 14 games into Billy Napier's tenure. Wide open receivers are the exception, not the rule in this offense. That, of course, is what has led me to continue to be concerned. I'm always hopeful something will change and we'll see something we have not seen before in the weeks ahead. However, so far, go back and watch every film review of Florida's offense and you can see for yourself what's there on the tape. So we will see what Tennessee brings to Gainesville and the Swamp next week. That's going to be a huge one, obviously. So pay close attention to that one. As always, I hope you enjoyed this content. I'm James for the Gator Nation Football Podcast. Go Gators. I'll see you after Florida and Tennessee.